What?
No one will ever see that either, because we're just going to get right into the episode from this point on. All that time
You could
wasted.
do it.
And again, like I said, maybe we should put it somewhere. We've said this in the past. Maybe we should put the pre-ramble somewhere, but no, we're not going to
Oh,
do it.
wait. You never hit me with that. Wait.
That pre-ramble.
The
What's that pre-ramble
preamble?
do?
Yo,
Yeah.
the preamble, like history buffs would actually get a little bit of a kick out of that. That's
Yeah,
pretty
you know who
nice.
wouldn't though? Our
Ooh.
listeners, because that was some mindless babbling going on right there. But we're happy to be back. It's Blade. We've been talking about it before we went on our hiatus. The hiatus. We wound up talking to the prop store, and they were doing an auction. We wound up getting a couple props in there from movies that we were planning on getting into, and we had not, up until this current point, gotten into any of those films. But right now, it's Blade time. If you want to check that out, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can go back and actually watch the conversation where the props are being shown to us and kind of explained. It was a really cool time. We love doing that with the prop store. But I'm happy to be back, and I know you're excited to be doing this because you couldn't contain yourself in
I
that
couldn't. I couldn't.
pre-ramble.
Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't stop, and I'm sitting here just ignoring you.
Ignore. So before, for people, if this is your first time, I don't know how you're jumping in at episode like 15 or no, we're like in the
We're like in the
20s.
30s or 40s. I don't know where
30s.
it's at.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Anyway,
crushing life.
if you're jumping in, we try not to talk about these ahead of time because we want like our conversation to be genuine. So even our text messages might just be like, yo, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm done.
So,
It was
yeah.
like a cryptic emoji. I don't know. Yeah, it's something weird.
Yeah. So like we're setting up our cameras and Doyle's setting up background and stuff. And I just had to gush. I was like, this movie's just awesome. Like it's just a good movie. I had fun. Like I'm sitting in here and just like the things that come out of Wesley Snipes' mouth, the setting of the movie, the action. This movie had everything that I would want out of a movie. It was funny. There was action packed. There was drama. Like it was just cool. It felt fun, and I've missed movies that just feel fun like that.
Right. So when I was watching this, it did kind of make me wish I wasn't 8 years old when it came out in theaters, and I could have
Okay.
actually gone and watched it. I didn't
Yeah.
realize how I didn't realize it was rated R until I was
Yes.
like in it and they said the F word twice or said, you know what I mean? And I was like, wait,
Yeah.
I had to go check the rating. I thought for some reason it was. I see Marvel, and in my head, I'm like, it's PG-13, right? This is it.
No,
It's not. It's a pretty hardcore movie. They really just kind of
it
led with
is.
They really led with it in this film when the movie
Yeah.
started with the blood and the gore and the swearing and the really just some weird stuff. Weird stuff
Yeah.
going on in this film.
So before we like actually like break down and stuff, I mentioned this when we were talking with the prop store. Like a lot of people, at least I've seen, credit this as like reviving Marvel because prior to this, Marvel sold off a lot of their superheroes. So they sold off like X-Men, Fantastic Four, and they kept what people consider like their B-list superheroes, which are like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. They weren't popular really in the 90s. So then they're sitting on these IPs, they're not doing anything with it. They have a couple of animated series, like if you remember the Iron Man one that didn't really do well. Like their best animated series were the ones they sold off, X-Men, Spider-Man, whatever.
So good.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
the
Don't
best.
get me
The
started.
best. Hey, well, by the
Anyway.
way, real quick, but around Marvel, people who are listening to this, maybe they like it. X-Men 92 is coming to Disney
Woo!
Plus at some point. They're just
Yes.
extending the story somehow with update. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm fascinated by it. I'm excited for it.
Yes, it's
Anyway,
gonna be sick.
continue.
So they're sitting on IPs and I get they had tried some movies before this, didn't do well, and then they're like, all right, let's just do Blade. They went full R rated because what I'm sure Wesley Snipes was not gonna do this not R rated. If you listen to his script, there's no way on earth this movie works. You just
Yeah.
have to let him flow because I genuinely believe a lot of the things he said just came to mind on set. Like he says things that I feel like he would have said in person. And if you listen to Wesley Snipes in old movies,
Yeah.
he plays like he played like gangsters. He played like he did a lot. He's smart alecky stuff. Like this felt like Wesley Snipes taking all of that, putting a serious bow on it, and saying, "I'm a vampire," and I can't see anyone else doing this at that time.
No way. Wesley Snipes nailed it. Obviously,
Yes.
this is exactly what you'd like with Blade. If you could bring Wesley Snipes from that time period to current day and reboot it,
Yes.
it would be a no brainer. It'd still be Wesley Snipes. It'd be Wesley Snipes all day.
Yeah.
No offense, we looked it up just to see. I wanted to see where they were in the process of the new Blade that's supposed to be in production or was starting production, and people are leaving. Directors are leaving. I don't know what's going on. It keeps getting pushed back. They're trying to figure this out. But Mahershala Ali is leading that, and I can see it. I feel like that is a good pick.
Yes. Yeah.
But going back and watching this movie, it's always Wesley Snipes, man.
He bring, you know how like Hugh Jackman took Wolverine and made it his own, and Robert Downey Jr. took Iron Man and made it his own. Whereas like the other characters, you could feel like I love Chris Evans. I feel like someone else could be Captain America. I love Mark Ruffalo and I love Eric Bana. Someone else could be freaking Bruce Banner and be the Hulk.
Chris Hemsworth and Thor. I don't know. I mean, like,
I don't. That's why I didn't. That's why
okay,
I left that alone.
All
Whereas Robert Downey Jr. feels like, even when they started drawing him in the comics, they started drawing Iron Man to look like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Like they started becoming the same person.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like if Blade was done now, this Blade was done now, they would have given him the same treatment. I just think since it was done in the 90s, it had its high point, it had its wave, and then it died down, where we don't let things die down that quickly anymore.
Yeah. So I was shocked to see, because I was trying to figure out like what was kind of like the first comic book hero movie, not just Marvel put out, but like in the 90s. I know that wave started. It turns out Spawn came out a year before this.
Yep.
This. And that was kind of interesting. I didn't realize that.
That's wild to think about. And Spawn isn't even like a major, it's from a big comic company, but when you think major, you think DC, you think Marvel, and Spawn is, it's
Todd McFarlane, Image Comics, I believe, but
yes.
they're one and the same at the time. But yeah, he was kind of leading that. McFarlane was kind of leading that push to try, because the comic book industry in the 90s was basically crumbling. It was because everybody was using it as like a stock market. They're like, you just buy all this stuff. It was being overprinted. That Marvel filed for bankruptcy, like you said. But McFarlane was like, let's do movies. Let's pivot. Let's go somewhere else. Let's make animated series, which like Marvel was doing at, early in the 90s. But yeah, so it was weird to see Spawn came out before this, but in the same vein, I mean, it's just as weird and just as kind of like gritty when you watch this Blade movie. And I guess the one thing when I'm watching it now, because I can't remember the last time I sat through and watched this from start to finish. I really can't. I remember seeing all of it. Like when I'm watching the scenes, I'm like, I saw this, but I don't think I've ever like sat through and watched it all in one session.
What?
This was,
dude.
honestly,
I had vivid memories of like almost this entire movie. That's crazy.
It is kind of weird that I have all three. Like I own all three. I've watched them all, but I just don't remember. I don't think I went back. I bought Blade just knowing, I've seen Blade. Like I watched it on TV. It's not the same when you watch it on like the actual full blown R. It's not TV. It's not meant for TV.
No.
The one thing I would have loved, now being a little more nuanced in watching film, is the emotion, which you don't get really at all. And they tried it. I feel like they tried it for a second there when we've seen this movie, guys. It's been out forever. Yeah. But when Whistler is there and he's dying and that's his boy, right? That's the only person he's had. They tried for emotion. There was not an ounce in his face or anything. I don't know. It was.
I think what they did was because even if you watch like hints of Blade and Spider-Man, they had like 4 episodes with Blade in it. Like, he's not that guy. Like, he's too tortured where he's like Batman to some point.
That's
like
fair.
You're not gonna get emotion out of Blade.
Okay, maybe not even emotion, but just like a little more dialogue to get to kind of give it a little more weight.
Yeah.
Because when
you get that in 3, you get that in 3.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, and that's obviously the time has. It's a couple movies, a couple years later. There's a little more involvement in the script writing. But for this first one, that when he's sitting there and he gives him the gun, and then there's like a moment where you're like, is he gonna try to save him instead of just giving him the gun? And he's like, nope, and just the most fast into slow dramatic turn and walk away, like like you walk away from an exploding building. Yeah. He did that from his boy just shooting himself in the brain.
He was pissed. That's it.
I know he's pissed, but that was it. That was the emotion in this film. And I was
The
like,
thing
oh,
is,
wow.
Blade has two emotions in this film. He's either angry or not angry. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
it. There's no happy, there's no sad. There's I'm mad or I'm not mad, and that's it.
I
That's
respect
what
it.
you get.
I respect it. Yeah, it was fascinating. I do wish there was a little bit more, but that's, I mean, outside of that, it was perfect for its time. I think,
Yeah.
it kind of encapsulated it.
Points from the movie. I have a question.
Yeah.
You're a 20-something-year-old adult. Put yourself in that mind, right? You're you're
Not
you're in your
years.
20s.
Come on, man. I'm back in my
You're
20s.
yeah, I know, and I know this wasn't your thing, but you're raving, you're at a party scene, you love it, you're dancing. And it just starts to rain blood. What do you do?
Yeah, so I also wrote this down. The beginning scene. I was like, at what point do you walk away when you're walking past meat hooks and livestock
The
just
thing
being,
is, that's a thing. I guess like the underground club scene. I get it.
yeah,
Whatever. Like
yeah.
you find a hole in a wall where you have to know a password. That's cool. But when the blood starts coming down, I'm getting out of there.
Wait, you don't wait. You're saying when a drop happens on your hand, you don't take it
Yes.
and lick it like this guy did? This
Yeah.
regular ass dude just
Oh my
decides,
god.
red stuff on my hand. I better taste it. It's probably ketchup. No, what are you doing?
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
that guy
wild.
was weird. That was weird.
Something that struck me this movie, and it happened to me in Matrix 2, just hearing the soundtracks. The soundtracks
Mm,
just I
mm.
don't know what I this because these weren't like my formative years, but hearing those like old rave
Those
soundtracks,
trench coat, those
yeah,
trench coat
they
soundtracks be
they just
bopping.
send me back to a time. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but like those just like broody rave soundtracks get me. I love it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It gets me amped up. It gets me ready to go. Let's talk about that meat hook club scene a little bit longer because when you see Blade pop up, he's not in the blood. He's like, not on my suit, bro. I'm gonna
No.
step just out. I'm doing this. He's absolutely slaughtering these people, which they're vampires.
Yes.
That's his goal. It's his end game. No remorse.
No.
Why? Why at the end of it all?
Hmm.
He's got this Quinn. We
Quinn.
figured out
Yep.
his name is Quinn. We went through this whole movie. I wrote down a bunch of notes about him, and I was like, wait, what was this dude's name again? Because they barely mentioned it. But the right hand man to Deacon Frost is at the nightclub, and all of a sudden he changes his mentality. He's got two hooks in him in the wall, and he's like, I want to see what happens when I light him on fire. Lights him on
Yeah.
fire and then leaves. Like obviously the police are coming or whatever. Why not finish the job on that guy? And
Yo.
then no, I don't even want to hear your response
Okay. Okay.
because the reason why I'm asking this is because I get just being a crazy person and like, yeah, that's it. But to come back to the hospital or whatever it is, the ward that they're in, whatever it is, that I don't know what that's called, where the dead body's at. The
Morgue.
morgue. That's it.
Yep.
Morgue. To come back and say, I'm here to finish the job after he just killed another person. Why would you allow that to even happen?
I think Blade was just playing with his food because later on, he cuts off. He's later on more with Quinn.
Yeah.
He's in the subway tunnel. Quinn gets his brand new hand.
Yeah.
He murks. I almost said murders. He takes out 3 vampires with his sword.
Yeah.
Then he sees Quinn coming, puts the sword away, cuts off his hand again,
Yeah.
and then lets him get away. He's like he's toying with this guy, and then he's just cutting him down, like he's whittling him down body part by body part. Like
Maybe okay. So yeah, I guess stacked upon each other throughout the length of the movie. Maybe that's his shtick with this guy, where it's like
yes.
fun for him to be like, "Hey, let's
Oh,
get you
that's
as
Quinn.
close as possible to death, or do something really crazy to you, and just see how you bounce back, man. Let's see." So yeah, okay, maybe I could see there's a little playfulness, but in the immediacy of watching it, you're like, you had this dude dead to rights. All you had to do is just pop him. He's done.
Yeah.
But then you come back after he reanimates and bites Karen and kills this other guy, which I don't even think he actually got killed. He turned into like a weird zombie thing. I don't know what that was about. But it was just weird to me that would happen back-to-back scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Back-to-back scenes. He does this, goes to the morgue, Blade's back at the morgue trying to finish the job. Just do it and be done with it. We save the whole movie pretty much. That's it.
Yeah. And that guy, I'm pretty sure that's just what happens when you starve a vampire. Like they just put them in those like catacombs and just didn't feed him.
Okay.
And then
yeah, that was weird. That was a weird moment. I was like,
that
yo,
was
this dude. I felt bad, but like,
that was
not
terrible.
really. We moved on from it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that scene, I guess we're gonna bounce around a little bit. The character progression of Karen,
Yeah.
is it hematologist? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Her character progression, which goes completely unseen on film, uh, is a fascinating one. And
Yeah.
honestly, I feel a little bit of an oversight in the director's
I
direction of the movie.
I enjoyed it because she went from being very scared, not knowing what to do, to having a gun put in her hand to be like, "I'll figure it out," to burning Pearl alive, to "I'm going to cure vampirism." And I was
Yeah,
like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like
yeah.
she
She just became a badass out of nowhere when she's talking to Deacon Frost while she's like detained in that room or whatever. They're just
yeah,
she's just in a chair. I mean, it looks pretty comfortable, honestly. She could have been in a worse spot, but uh, she's talking to him like the main protagonist in every movie ever
yes,
is like, man, I'm gonna really relish in killing you. You know what I mean? She knows she's gonna win. Where
yeah.
did this confidence come
I
from?
don't.
Where did this
I mean,
badassery come from?
at that point she was a vampire, she cured herself, and she was like, "Yo, you can't do anything else worse to me, so like
Ugh.
I'm just gonna," because he said, "I'll turn you," she was like, "I'll just cure myself again," and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I listen, it was cool to watch, but I was
It
like,
was.
yo, this is the same person for the beginning of the movie that got yeeted out of a window across
Okay,
the building on the roof.
thank
That was a
you.
bit much there.
Thank you for bringing that back up. I wasn't sure how I was going to segue into that. I
Oh,
wrote down, I don't care at all what is on that other roof. I don't
it
care
looks
if
comfortable.
they had a Tempur-Pedic mattress. I don't care if there was a crash pad. That throw is murder.
Yeah,
And she gets out of it with a dislocated
just
shoulder.
dislocated, and he's like, "I'll fix it." Yep, done. Yeah,
Oh
when
my
she,
God.
I
No, that,
laughed. I like audibly
oh
laughed
my
whenever
God.
he was just like, I have a decision to make. We need to get out of this window. We can't go down. How about 40 feet across the street
Yeah,
onto another
that is,
building?"
yes.
I was like,
He
wait,
murdered
all right.
her. Yes,
Yeah.
that was murder.
Interesting. One other thing I want to talk about Blade's outfit. I think it's an awesome outfit. It's badass, the vest and everything, and we'll get into that whenever we get into the draft, obviously here pretty soon.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. The position of the sword straight down the spine,
Yeah.
huge fan of it
Yeah.
until he sits into his car and
Yeah.
drives. And I'm like, no, that's not
He
how it
takes it
works.
out. Well, I mean, he doesn't
Nope.
always. No, he does. You're right. You're right. Because I'm thinking about. There's one scene I wrote down about Blade. What did I write? There was one scene where Blade's loading up the car, and you see him like chuck like his sword and everything in
I
there.
think he does that once,
Um.
but there was a couple
Oh
scenes and
yes,
I
there it
wrote it
is.
down because I saw it where it was on his back and he slides in the car and he
Yeah.
drives. And I'm like, wait. What I honestly think that's just like a
Honestly,
continuity. That's a
yeah.
continuity thing, I think, for somebody to watch it where surely they're not actually storing a sword in his back for the entirety of the when they're filming this movie. So
Yeah.
it's just a prop handle in the back
Yeah.
of a vest, which is perfectly okay. But they shouldn't have told him to slide into the car with that in his back because it just like whenever you see him later in the film and you see the blade, it goes below his waist, like you
Yeah.
can see it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you sit without it going like up over your head? You know, like if it's when you're seated. I don't know. Small little things like that. It obviously it's inconsequential to the movie, but for me, I'm a stickler and I just like to look it out and be like, what is
Honestly,
this?
driving in his outfit in general without the sword, he's got a leather jacket, a trench coat.
It's
He's
tough.
got a bulletproof vest that's the sleeveless. Then he has the long sleeve black. Like, and then his pants, he's got like freaking black fatigues on. This
Yeah.
man is I'm melting watching him this entire movie. It is one of the best designs though ever.
It's
Like,
sweet. It's pretty
one of
sweet.
it overall, even his leather jacket having the hole for the sword to go through to go into the
Yeah.
bulletproof
I like
vest,
that.
like everything on him is sick. It's way too hot.
Yeah. Oh, for
Like,
sure. But
and he's a
luckily,
day walker.
yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't need all
There's
that.
like one scene in like true sunlight, when they're in that like park and he just finds this little girl for Deacon Frost finds this little girl for some reason who has apparently no guardians around or whatever. And no
Yeah,
one seems to care that he's just literally choking out this girl while, you know what I mean? Like they're
yeah.
in their own world. It's like they're on their own like astral plane and like the regular people don't see them for some reason.
No, not at all.
Oh, that was weird, I thought. But also she gets yeeted. That little girl gets tossed
Yo,
from
they chuck people.
they're just chucking people this
They're
movie. It was
chucking people and they're dislocating shoulders because Blade pops his out later on in
yeah.
the train scene.
Yeah, I think
Like they,
that was intentional because it was like okay, you ripped mine back into place. I'm
yep.
going to do it back to you so now we're even kind of thing. But yeah, there's some weird. The sun play there was kind of fascinating.
What do you mean?
Because they're okay. Obviously, that was in. He's got like the paste on. Deacon Frost has like the
Yeah,
whatever it is. I don't know, some sort of
sunblock.
concealer. It's just sunblock. You're telling me that's
That's
just
I
like
mean that's what Blade says. He just says sunblock. Like I'm sure that's just what they call it.
yeah.
It is, yeah, it's like some kind of concealer. But yeah, continue.
So when Deacon Frost takes, I think his name's Dragonetti, the
Yeah,
older vampire, the pure blood, and they take him out to just the water, I guess, for the morning sunrise.
yeah,
I love I love knowing immediately that it's not actually nighttime or that whole sequence. It's you can tell, especially in this time, like in the
yeah,
90s, when they're filming in daytime and they like color grade it to be night, and it's very clearly not night. It just looks like blue, like
yeah,
it's a weird shade of blue. That I can get over. What I couldn't get over is their concept of a sunrise and how it works, because
yeah,
it went from there not being much going on. The sun has not gone over the horizon, right? And it was that color, that bluish color, where it's not just not how sunrises work. And then all of a sudden, when they leave them, they walk away, they get to the car. The sun's like, here I am, and it's like now
yeah.
it's completely yellow. It was fun. That
And
was fun.
unless they took him to the North Pole or Alaska,
Yeah,
like you have to go north. The sunrise can be that rapid. You have to be either very far north or very far south. And they were not. They were like in their version of New York City. I think they were in New York. I can't.
I never know. I never know in superhero movies to decide if it's like a real city or not, unless they explicitly mention it. I don't know that they
Yeah.
did. Say if it was New York or not. I would imagine that's probably the setting.
It
I mean, I always every time I see
looked.
a city, that's what I think. But
Yeah. No, this looked like
yeah,
some places in the Bronx that I've been. So that's the only
okay,
reason
okay,
why.
that's
That's
fair.
the only reason I was thinking that.
Um, so a couple more things before we get into the draft. I want to talk about. And if you have anything, feel free to chime in. But we talked about Quinn getting his arms chopped off
Yeah.
multiple times this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little out of place, but absolutely hilarious towards the end when Deacon Frost takes Blade's blade, and is like, Quinn, put your arms out, put your arms out. And I was like, oh my god, bro, I don't remember this scene. I was like, he's really gonna do this? And then he's like, no, I'm just playing with you, like I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What? And there was no payoff. It wasn't like I'm just kidding, and then he does it. You know what I mean? That's what the
Yeah.
bad guy does. It was
Yeah.
like, now I'm just messing with my bro. And I was like, all right, Deacon. All right,
I
you're kind
I
of
liked
cool.
it. Yeah, because the entire time Deacon is no nonsense and you can't tell if he actually likes Quinn or not sometimes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the only way you could tell if he likes Quinn is the fact that Quinn's still alive and that's it. Because
yeah,
almost everyone else who crosses Deacon just dies.
yeah.
And that was like the one time you kind of get like, all right, Deacon actually likes this guy.
It was a
That's
weird moment, especially
yeah.
in that time of the film. We're in the third act, well into it, like we're about to get
Yeah.
like the crescendo fight, and then all of a sudden you get like a little slice of life rib jab
Yeah.
between the bad guys, and you're like, wait, what?
I actually like
Like
that too.
it was funny. I was like, am I supposed to hate this guy? Because that was kind of humanizing. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that mixed with let's go to the end scene. He gets into the fight. Obviously, Deacon becomes the vampire god, or is instilled with the powers of
Hmm.
sticky blood, or whatever that is we're calling it, where you get cut and you go right back. It was a very weird. It looked cool. I mean, for the
Hmm.
late '90s, I mean, sick. That's pretty cool
Yeah.
stuff. But the one thing that really cheesed me out. All right, and it's '90s again. This is I got it's everything's cheesy in this time frame. But where did Wesley Snipes one liner at
Yo,
the end
no,
come
I'm
from?
gonna stop you right now. I will show you a text message with my friend because we're joking. We were at work like 3 years ago, and he busted us out at work, and I started crying
Yeah.
because I have it written in my notes. This is the single greatest one-liners in cinema history. So
Where did it come from?
it doesn't matter because it applies to everything in life. It might even be a little cheesy right now. I swear to you, you can use this anytime you meet an asshole anywhere. Anytime. Like you could be at work, you could be standing in line and someone's being an entitled piece of crap.
Yeah.
You could be at an airport, you could be in traffic. And this one
Okay.
line it fits any situation.
So let's say it. I won't say the actual F word because we're trying to be friendly to the family and the kids, even though this is a rated R film. But
Yes.
I'll say it. So it says he said some MFers always. Oh wait, some MFers always try to ice skate uphill. Is
Yo,
that? Did I get that?
you gotta put it a little better than that.
What's the badass way to say that? I was so flabbergasted when I heard this. I was like, this is so out of place.
No, because he's
I don't know.
I don't, this shouldn't have to be explained. Like those words just don't resonate with you. Like
Wait,
what?
was I supposed to be like tickled or there? Or was I supposed to be like,
That
whoa,
is
whoa, we got a badass over here?
like
I don't
in the
know.
90s, no, but sitting back and thinking about it, I'm like, yo, he's right. Like some people are always just like some assholes are just always trying to ice skate uphill. Like it's so good. What? I love
I
it.
I'm
Oh
just
my god.
it's I'm not saying it's not unique. It's definitely unique. I just
I
am
would say
fascinated by the line.
out of one liners, that has got, and I've heard a lot, like that has got to be by far one of my favorite ones. I don't know if it's Wesley Snipes' delivery. I don't know if I find it like some guys are just trying to do shit they shouldn't do, just trying to go about things the hard
Like I
way.
get it. Yeah, that
And it's just like
it makes sense when you really think about it, but in that context in this type of movie, I was not ready for like a deep thought like one-liner that's like, "Oh, all right,
it
I
was
see."
worth it.
Like
It
it's
was
so
worth
random.
it. Like I would, of all the things I would change out of this movie and this franchise, I am leaving that 1000%.
So you're saying Mahershala Ali better say it in the new one.
No, not at all, because it would just it would spoil it.
Okay.
But for me, I watch this movie and I look forward to that moment.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, hey, everybody's got their thing, bro, and that's your thing. That's fine.
And then
Uh,
you have to follow. How does he follow it up though?
I mean, yeah, he freaking kills the guy, but like, what do he does like the roundhouse into the
He kicks the vial into
yeah.
his head. Like, oh my god, it's so good.
That's pretty good. It's okay. That sequence was good. I thought it was a little thrown by the one liner.
No,
I
it
didn't.
wasn't.
No, I'm
Okay,
saying
I'm
me
breaking this
personally.
down. No, I'm
All
breaking
right.
this down. I'm breaking
Okay.
this down.
That's good. We
Wesley
need this.
Snipes is fighting Deacon Frost. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Deacon Frost just went through. Deacon Frost was a human. He was bitten to become a vampire.
Okay.
So this whole movie, you think he's a pureblood until he's talking to Karen, and Karen breaks it down, and she shreds his balls apart. She was like, "I mean, you're." She realizes he's also a human turned vampire. He's doing this because he's trying to overcompensate because he's got, I don't know, issues. So he wants to not just be pure blood. He wants to be the god of vampires. He wants to be, he hasn't been brought up yet. He wants to be bigger than Dracula.
Yeah.
So he does all this. He assembles these elders. He gets Blade because he needs the Daywalker. He becomes a god. He ascends. He's pretty much Icarus at this point. And then Wesley Snipes goes. They have a crazy fight scene. And the entire time, Frost is like, Blade, I know you. I know everything about you. I know your sword's hidden traps. He deactivates a sword. He thinks he knows Blade's mentality. He gets Blade's mom and has Blade's mom working under him. So this entire time, he thinks he's operating a step above Blade. He thinks he's better than everybody. They're fighting. So Deacon Frost thinks Blade has these vials because he thinks that they're his serum to get more power because Blade doesn't drink blood. So finally, Blade gets his hands on the serum. Deacon is not worried about anything. Blade loads him up with like 6 of them. And then he just starts to swell because it turns out Karen made a freaking coagulation factor thing and it kills vampires. I have a joke that I just remembered.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right.
And then he hits him with a line after all this time, after all the trash talk, after the entire God complex, he hits him with it, and then he kicks the last one into his head. And just it was fitting.
Yeah.
It just
okay. Okay, listen, I'm not pushing back on the delivery. I'm not pushing back on how he did it afterwards. Like the scene was great. It just initial listen, right? I'm like, I was really paying attention. It just felt it was a weird line. It was a weird line to me. But I'm not saying it wasn't an awesome
watch
moment.
it
The
2 and
moment
3.
altogether, fantastic. Weird set of words to come out of Blade's mouth in this iteration of Blade. It just seemed it was weird.
Okay, I completely understand that. I think the reason it's different for me is, have you seen the original White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember any of Wesley Snipes's lines, delivery, anything, any of the script from that movie?
Any of the script? I mean, not really the script, no. But I mean,
Okay.
like I watched the movie, but
If you watch like 3 Wesley Snipes movies before this, watch like Money Train, I don't know, White Men Can't Jump, and then watch this, or you could throw in like there's one where he's a gangster. Anyway,
yeah,
watch like 3 Wesley Snipes movies, watch
okay,
this, and you're gonna be like, all right, that makes sense.
okay,
Because at this point, I think he's a major star at this point. This is probably one of those things where he made the line and he was just like, this is something Wesley Snipes as a character would say. And that was big
okay,
back then. Like
yeah.
you would get Arnold Schwarzenegger saying things that maybe his character wouldn't say, but Arnold Schwarzenegger would say as characters
In a
in
different
his
movie, yeah.
movies.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, fine. I'll accept it. All right, I'll accept it. I'm not again. I don't. We're very close to being on the same page. I just felt like it was a little weird, but I get what
I
you're
get
saying.
it. No,
You've
I get what
swayed
you're
me.
saying too. I get what you're saying. It's just that you have to know Wesley Snipes as an actor for
Yeah.
it to not feel weird at that point.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we get into this draft? Because we also need to figure out how many we're picking for this because you
Yes.
had a lot of stuff.
Real quick, imagine
Okay.
this because because Karen kills a vampire this very way, and I found it hilarious. Imagine this: you're a vampire, and you go and you bite someone. Your insides start to melt, and it turns out you bit an Italian, and they're filled with garlic.
Mm. Okay.
Because Karen straight up just sprayed garlic into this woman's
Into
mouth,
her mouth,
and
bro.
her head exploded.
That was aggressive. See, here I'm thinking it was like a deterrent,
Yes,
and it
no.
was literally it just popped somebody. I was like,
So
oh
like
wow.
you can't bite the wrong person apparently because you're gonna die.
Oh my god. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I got to imagine that it's not like coursing through their veins, but I mean, a pure blood Italian, maybe. It's possible.
Fresh out of dinner time, you're done.
Yeah, like fresh out. I just ate at Olive Garden. Like, yeah,
Yes.
you're done. It's
Oh,
over.
Italians don't eat at Olive Garden,
No,
by
no,
the
real
way.
Italians don't eat at Olive Garden,
They
but
don't. That's bad.
me Italian. I speaking of Italian, this is a side. It's a running joke now with my wife and I. And Mom, if you're listening, I love you. Uh, my mom calls it Italian. I don't
Oh
know
god.
why. She says Italian like you would say iPhone.
Hmm.
I don't get it. And we don't correct her. We just let
Yeah.
it flow because she's just always done it. But I never really noticed it growing up until Kristen said, she's saying Italian. And I'm like, I think you're right. I think she is saying Italian. And we just do it now. That's the thing. We call it Italian.
My dad only does that because like dads are just try to like rib things. Like when my
Yeah.
dad is like purposely trying to like joke, he'll say Italian, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's me. I'm gonna be so insufferable for my daughter and any other potential children that I have
Mm,
in the future.
yeah,
I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that dad.
you're there.
I'm already there. I've been doing it before her. This isn't exclusively
You're there.
parenting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
take
you're there.
words and I ruin them for people. That's my job. That's
Yes.
my goal in life is to make a word that you frequently use or enjoy, and just take it and make it the worst word you've ever heard in your life. And that being said, I guess we can get into this draft now. Ready? You good?
Yep. Did it.
Whose movie was this? I don't even know. Did you get Santa Claus first pick?
Crap, I did, but Blade was technically my
Technically, this is
movie.
yours. I'd be
But
willing to concede this to you because this was your pick, and I don't want to. I don't want to take it from you.
okay.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
we did like a coin toss on Santa Claus. I don't
We
know
did.
why.
We did. So that was like an offset
Okay.
Christmas special
Yeah.
coin tosser. And yes, this is you. Next film will be me though. But yeah, you got
Okay.
it. So you get first pick. And how many do you want to do here? Because my list
I'm
started hot. And
yeah.
we will have to clarify something about
We do.
Blade, his
Yes.
outfit. I think
Yeah,
I think we should
exactly.
clarify that.
Is his sword a part of the outfit?
No.
Got it.
I feel like if you say Blade's outfit and you get everything that comes with it, this is
Yeah.
done. It's over. Like
Yes.
there's nothing
Okay.
else left. So
We're
I
on
think
the
we're gonna
same
part it
page.
out. I
Yeah.
think I would say the outfit to me,
Mm-hmm.
you get the vest, you get
Mm-hmm.
the jacket. I'd be willing to concede that. Like that's the cloth attire,
Jacket, the vest.
the jacket, and the vest,
Yeah.
and whatever the undershirt. Which
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
point he wasn't even wearing an undershirt, but like
Yeah,
I'll
that was
give the
sick.
outfit like as in vest, jacket, pants, shoes, all that, but not
Yeah.
none of like the accessories because those
Yeah.
are To
No,
me,
no,
those are
no.
like
Yes.
Batman's
Yeah,
accessories that are
exactly.
standalone. So that being said, this
You reminded me, God, to go back real quick. They get an iconic shot to me that I feel like I've seen it outside of just this movie, where Blade drinks Karen's blood, and then Deacon Frost, because they do like that back to back where Blade's drinking Karen, Deacon's
yeah,
turning into a god, and
yeah.
they catch him, and he just looks, and that drop of blood just falls out of his mouth. I don't know why that just seemed like a crazy shot to me. I loved it.
That
I
him
don't
going
know.
in on Karen's neck was like that
Yeah.
was a scene, bro. I was like, whoa, get a room over here.
Yes, there's a lot of like kind of slightly sexual things in that thing
Don't even get
with
me
his
started on like the
mom.
mom thing.
Mom,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
was like,
was I was uncomfortable.
they were
I
like,
was
I'm not your mom's like your mom's dead, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure like you're
you're
still
his yeah,
that's
you're
your
his mom.
son. So just please get your
Yeah,
lips away from his lips like that. That's weird.
please. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First pick, Blade draft. 3 or 4? What do you want? 3 picks apiece? 4
4
picks apiece? 4?
4
All right,
4.
let's do it. Let's do it. You're up.
I'm taking the sword. That's it.
What? I'm so shocked. That's insane. What?
I'm taking the sword. The
Wow.
thing is, it's hard. We can't be too specific because I know when we spoke to the Propcast, they have like 4 different versions of the sword, like one that ticks, one that doesn't tick, one with the like claws out, the things that shreds
Yeah.
people. But I'm taking blade sword.
Like we know there's
That's
multiple iterations, but yeah, because of
yes,
this film, like we're you get it all. We're not going to be like
yeah,
sword 1, prop sword 2. Yeah, we're not going to do
yeah.
that. So you
No,
get the sword, it's yours. I'm going to write this down. Okay, so now I'm realizing aside from the sword, I mean I wrote that down. I didn't really number anything else. I was like I don't know. I didn't really factor in. Let me cross sword out so we can go into this.
yeah.
This is tough because we're going to get into like the accessories almost immediately, I feel like.
Maybe not.
I think I have to take his outfit now that we've declared
Yeah,
what it is.
take
I
it.
think I
Yeah.
have to take it. The vest to me is one of the coolest looking things that
It's
he has.
sick. His
So
outfit is
Blades,
sick.
yeah,
Oh,
Blade.
you get the sunglasses
No,
too.
no, 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 no. I think sunglasses can stand alone too. Those can stand
Really?
alone. I think those can stand alone.
I don't think either of us are drafting just the sunglasses.
I don't know. I think we
Oh,
have a history.
okay.
We had a very rich history of
The thing,
sunglasses,
you're
but
right, because I did get Morpheus's.
those are
I
pretty
did.
sweet sunglasses, and they do have a scene.
Yes.
But I'm not going to hype those up because I want to talk about
Yeah.
the vest. I want to talk about the trench coat. Trench coats
Yes.
very big in that time.
Yes.
Yeah, going
His
into
was
the Matrix.
redlined, right?
Uh, I I don't know. Was it?
Why do I remember seeing red? I don't know why.
Could it have been the blood at the rave? I don't know. I think there might have been a little accent, but I don't even care. The vest, the trench coat, it's Blade. The look, I'll take it. I'll put it on a
It's
mannequin.
redlined. It Oh my god, that's sick. That's
Sick. All right.
sick.
All right.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I'll take his outfit, and then the floodgates can open on the rest of his accessories. But obviously, you got the pinnacle accessory. It's freaking Blade's blade. We
Oh,
talked about it with the prop store, but Blade's blade is the top prop for sure.
I might have lied. I think in Blade 1, it might not be redline, and then in Trinity, it is. Either
Okay.
way, his trench coat is iconic. His outfit is iconic. Like,
Yeah.
you getting that is not at all a loss for
No,
you.
I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, looking at every time I saw him, he just looks so badass. Wesley Snipes looks so good in this movie. Just as a human being, just built. He was doing a million roundhouse kicks. The
Yes.
amount of roundhouse kicks per minute in this movie, unreal. And it wasn't just him doing it. He was just having like round offs with other
Yeah.
people. Like legs were just turning. It looked like you're like a temple run where you're trying to like avoid an object. I don't know. It
Mhm.
was weird. Why were there so many
I
spinning
I
roundhouses?
hope I'm not misremembering, but I think he has like a I don't want to say history in dance, but he does. I think he has a history in martial arts because he was
Yeah.
the same way in Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone. He was doing a lot of martial arts in that
Yeah,
too.
so apparently
Like,
his martial arts history is Hapkido,
okay.
Shotokan,
Mhm.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and kickboxing.
Okay.
Pretty
So
solid.
yeah, he definitely like in any movies where he was like an action movie or a villain, he would not hesitate to do
Yeah,
anything like
he
that.
was awesome. That's why he was awesome to have around. And I hope that we get that same style of court. Not, I want better choreography,
Yo, the
obviously,
core
but like it
that
was good. No, I'm saying like the choreography was good. I'm saying the
yeah,
way it was shot. I want it to look a little more cinematic, but
modern. You
modern.
wanted
Yeah,
to I was
but
gonna
I
say
do think the
because
choreography was good. Yeah,
the shooting of that was what you would get Like that was shot. Those fight scenes were shot similar to what you would get out of like a Jackie Chan or a Bruce Lee action movie at those times. Like
Yeah.
that was how fight scenes were shot back then. They weren't shooting things like in the hallway scene of Daredevil. Like we weren't getting cinematic
That was
fight
awesome.
scenes. Yes.
Yeah, that's
We
like
were
that's
not
pinnacle
getting
stuff. And
yes.
what's related right now, I believe Echo just came out on Disney
I
Plus,
did. I
and there
did.
may or may not be an appearance of the Daredevil in that one. I saw a snippet online of their fight. It's not Daredevil. All right, it ain't.
Yo,
It's
the
not in
thing
Daredevil season 1, season 2 that on
yeah.
Netflix. It's not anywhere close to that. So I'm a little disappointed. But
It's going to be hard to get stuff like that. They were in their bag with that. Like
oh yeah,
they were doing whatever they just felt like they were on cloud nine and they were just like, yo, we got this. And
yeah, and
they
we're in a
had
weird
it.
spot right now with Marvel stuff that's going straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They've pushed their hand all the way through to the bottom of the bag and have ripped out of the bottom, and they're grabbing rocks off the ground. Like that's where they're at right now.
I
So yeah, they're not in their bag. They're
we
through it.
yeah we have to have a side talk about this because I am one of the biggest Marvel fans ever,
Yeah.
and I have been disappointed recently.
It sucks.
So
I've been pushing back all. I mean, I have people that be like, I don't watch it anymore. I'm like, are you serious? You're not watching all this stuff? They'll hit every once in a while. Loki's crushing it. They still have that going for them. But
did
yeah, did have that going. But yeah, that might be a side pod where we kind of just assess the state of the union for Marvel Cinematic
yo,
Universe.
what is it with these history like nudges? I
I don't
know.
know. I don't know. I'm in a mood. I've been watching a lot of docs, a lot of documentaries. So all
All
right,
right.
let's keep it going.
My number two
Yeah,
pick.
yeah.
I'm not even gonna talk a lot. Boomerang Blade. That's it.
Sick. That was out
I
of nowhere
just
too. It came
yo.
out of nowhere, right? He had all this stuff. He had knives. He was like throwing stuff. He had the little spikes, and all of a sudden, he's like, "I have a tool for this exact moment for a circular
Yes.
room where 3 people walk in at the same exact time." And he's like, "Watch this." Woo! And it just goes shoo 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 shoo. Takes all 3 of them out.
Somehow, I feel like that was almost when this movie came out, almost more iconic than his sword. Because I remember kids, like there was this one kid on my bus who was like, "I got the boomerang blade from Blade," and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
He
Like
did
that?
pose a lot with it, especially he was just
Yes,
like just come up and
yes.
he's like people are listening to this and what are you doing? I'm posing. You can watch it on YouTube. By the way, another thing that I haven't even talked about, which is now weird to anybody who sat through this entire video on YouTube and wondered what the hell's going on with his neck. Before I did this, I know, right? You're like, what is this? There's 2 dots on my neck. I thought it might be kind of funny to do a couple little like dots to pretend, hey, look at me, I got bit by a vampire, which is how all vampires speak.
Not at all. We just
But
watched a movie and not a single one of them spoke like that.
hey, forget about my neck. Yeah. Anyway, look,
Yo,
everybody, I got
the
bit. You
Italian
can check this out
community
on.
is gonna be pissed after this episode.
Yeah, just just check it out. Check it out on our YouTube
Right.
channel. Look at the movie Propcast. If you have not gone to our YouTube channel and you maybe don't even care to watch these, we'd love for you to just show up and like say hello. Maybe throw a subscribe on there. That'd be great. But
Yo, even if you hate us, just say that because that's still
comment.
engagement.
Yeah, the
Yeah, just
engagement's
comment.
wonderful. Just say, wow, ugly neck. What are those dots? And then,
Yeah.
I'll
But
explain.
still
Hey,
leave a like though. But still leave a like.
but
Yeah.
definitely. But
Hate in the
anyway,
comment, but leave a like.
perfect. That's all we could ask for.
Yes.
Hate subs on YouTube are great. All right, so you got the boomerang. I do agree that is pretty sweet. I'm not gonna take that away from you. So initially, I wrote this down. Oh, I'm not even gonna go there.
Oh wow, or fast.
So I didn't want to like start a ramble and breaking down something and then me not pick it and then just leave it out there for anybody to get.
Yeah.
And by anybody, I mean you. Man, am I? I wrote this down twice. That's not good. So I wanted to get some sort of weapon. Obviously, you have the sword. I initially wrote down his shotgun because at the beginning of the movie, he's
That was
absolutely
sick.
bopping with that thing. He's just
Yeah.
like, things are going crazy.
Yeah.
Was not the coolest gun in the movie, though.
It was not. It wasn't
Not
the
the coolest
coolest
gun in the movie.
You don't even get to see all of the coolest gun because I realized when it popped up for me until like 75% way through the movie. Then you're like, is that? And
Yeah.
then you're like, yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pick his handgun automatic
Uzi.
pistol.
I think it's
Uzi.
a modified Uzi.
It's like an Uzi that looks like a fat, just a crazy
Yes.
sci-fi fat pistol.
Yes.
It looks like an oversized pistol. And you heard it when Whistler, when he gives the gun to him. I was like, are they just gonna do like one desk pop like noise? It was like, like it was a,
Yeah.
it bursted. This man blew his brains out. That's horrible.
Yeah. It
But yeah,
was
it,
I didn't even realize until he gave it to Whistler, which was like 60% through the movie. I
yeah,
was like, yo, this gun, because
it's
I thought it
thick.
was like a pistol too, because it looked like the Judge Dredd pistol, which is I think Judge Dredd might be my favorite pistol in cinematic history, but that's a
That's
side
big. Yeah,
topic.
yeah,
That's a side topic. But his looked a little like the Judge Dredd pistol. And then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's an Uzi," because he's like he's pulling that thing out in the streets, by the way, and just
yeah,
lighting up the streets anyway.
yeah. It's there's
That's a good pick. That's a
yeah.
good
I
pick.
like it. I don't love guns, but I mean like that. It looked good, and it was iconic because obviously it's Blade's gun. But
Yeah.
the only point in the movie where there was a shred of emotion, that was that was it. The
Hmm.
giving of the gun over to Whistler to just have him off himself, which again, horrible. But I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yes.
That's an okay pick. I'll
You
take it.
you mentioned the sound effect of the gun going off. I forgot to one of my favorite things that made this movie for me were sound effects in general because and sometimes the lack thereof. So at one point Karen wakes up in their hideout and finds Whistler and then Blade jumps down behind her and they edited out all sound effects.
Yeah.
And like normally you would hear like a slight whoosh or something,
And then
something to
the
make it
feet hitting
sound
the
like
ground like
yeah,
a,
like so,
yeah.
not even that.
Not
Like
even okay. Yeah.
if it's supposed to be a vampire, you'd hear like a light whoosh just to know that they did something, and then be like, "Oh, they're quiet." He was absent of noise. It
Yeah.
was pure silence, and I was like, "That was sick."
That was
Then later on,
interesting.
he's loading up the car, and he takes out the sword, and you hear the like
Yeah.
he just like swishes the
Anytime he
sword. I was like,
spins something, you're like, dang,
anytime,
dude, what we got a
yes.
badass over here. That's sick.
We-
Whoa, whoa.
Pick number three. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Pick number three. I'm going with the 1968 Dodge Charger.
Ooh,
I'm
nice. Okay,
taking
so
it.
I was leaning into that, and when I wrote
Yes.
it down initially, I wrote down Blade's car,
Hmm.
right? And then before I looked it up, I was trying to figure out what it was. To me, it felt like a Plymouth. I was like, is it an old Plymouth? I don't know exactly what it was. It looked like the grill was a little modified. Then I looked up the car and found out, yeah, you're right. It was a 68 Dodge Charger, and it is
Yes.
badass. Yes,
It
it's a
is
very nice car.
crazy. I want that. Yo, talk to me about Whistler. One haphazardly loading that thing up with gas, like he
Yeah.
misses the canister, most of it. There's gas everywhere, and then lights up a cigarette in the same scene
Yes.
covered in gas.
I loved it. I loved it. I thought that was hilarious. It was so stupid. It
Oh
didn't make
my
any
god.
sense to me why
No,
they would
not at
even do
all.
that. But yeah, the cigarette smoking in this movie, outrageous. They would pull out cigarettes all the time. And to me, especially it's a 2 hour runtime. In a movie nowadays, the amount of money that's spent in filming and creating a movie, that's on the cutting room floor, man. Like the amount of time like they spent with Deacon Frost first when you first see him, he's just standing there doing something, and then they're like, come on in or come on back or something like that. And then they hang on him
Yeah.
to just go into his pocket and pull a bag of cigarettes out, grab the cigarette, light it, take a puff. That was like 15 to 20 seconds of the
Dude,
film that did not
the
need to
thing
happen.
is, I miss the feel of this movie. Like
Yeah.
movies don't feel like this anymore, and I kind of miss it. I'm not gonna lie.
It was interesting. But yeah, a lot of cigarettes, a lot of drinking. And that was back when it was apparently really cool to do in
Yeah.
movies. All right, my third pick. I'm gonna cross out the shotgun. It's done for me. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking two guns. Um, man. So I think no matter what, I'm gonna have a really good closer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I have to take this now because you have one last pick anyway. I'm gonna take the serum darts. Just the serum
The
darts.
the serum dart, the killing ones, though. You mean right?
What do you mean? Yeah, the
The
ones that make
blue,
you
the
explode.
blue.
The darts,
Okay.
like the ones he has at the
Yes,
end where they're
yes,
like
yes.
lined on
So
that armband.
the EDTA, yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
vials,
I
yes.
want that.
Okay.
I want that because I think it's cool.
I
It's got like a little blue tint on it. It looks pretty sweet. It's
yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
like you said, I don't want to take your beautiful one liner at the end, but it's pretty iconic for that scene when you see those. And you're
Yeah.
like, he just gets the boot right in the dome.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I'm a little upset. I really wanted those. I was hoping you didn't reach for those, and
This was a
I'm a little
strategic
upset.
pick, all right? I,
The
I
thing is, I needed. If I didn't, you were gonna get the gun. You were gonna get the car, and I
Yeah, oh,
couldn't
I
let
was
that
getting the car.
happen.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're
I
either
couldn't let that
way,
happen.
can't have it all right? Can't have it all. But yeah, I'll take the what did you want to call them? I just call them the serum darts. I don't know
Well,
what it is.
she specifically said they're EDTA.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, the EDTA vials.
Got it.
Um,
All right, so it's your last pick now, and I do think there's going to be a couple things left on the table, so I
there's gonna
guess
be quite a few things.
excited to talk about them.
This is tough.
Yeah, you got to leave
This
something
the
behind.
last pick is tough. My first three were already so strong. Like this last one feels like it could be for me, but those vials were kind of what would have been for me.
It would have been easy, but now I don't. I don't want to make it easy for you though.
Um, do I want? I don't. Would I want this? Okay. Do you think Pearl's burnt corpse was an actual prop?
It had to be. I don't think that was not CGI.
Yeah. Do
That
I want
big,
the burnt?
yeah,
Do I want it burnt or do I want Pearl? I think I want Pearl.
like yeah,
Unburnt?
undoctored,
Yeah.
yeah, unburnt. That
Undoctored? Yeah.
massive, gross, slimy, wet, fat suit. Yeah, you want
Yeah.
it? It's yours,
I
bro.
I kind of want Pearl.
It is definitely unique when you look at the character design of this fella who I don't there was no explanation of what or why
None.
this guy existed and
Hmm.
why he was like that. I don't know. Like how do you even get like that as I'm assuming some sort he's a vampire obviously because the UV light was burning him.
Yeah.
Was he just like
Gorging. Just
gorging himself
gorging.
on my god, how did he
Yes.
even do that?
Just I don't know. That was the most disgusting I've ever seen. Like I literally wrote in my notes, "What the hell is Pearl?" Like
What?
that is
I know. I was like, wait.
that was
Yeah.
disgusting.
It was, and honestly, I felt bad for him. Those squeals whenever he was getting
Yeah.
burned. I was like, dude.
I'm almost second guessing my pick right now. I don't even know if I still want Pearl.
I mean,
Um
it's up to you, man. You got to lock something in though. But I don't think
hope
it's a horrible pick. It's a
it's
fascinating pick. I'm saying though, like if I come into your house and you're like, hey, remember this guy from Blade? And he's just like sitting in a room in a display. Well, it's
the hard part for me is like it's between Pearl
okay.
and the sunglasses. And I
Okay.
genuinely don't know if the sunglasses were that cool for me to take them as a whole pick. That's the hard part.
I'll let you know, and I don't want this to sway your opinion. I wrote the sunglasses twice unconsciously. Like I didn't even know I did it.
They just
They're,
look like sunglasses
but
though,
they're like, no,
man.
but they're different though because they're like flat and they're like really thin. Like they're like totally not practical for actual sunglass use. Like the sun would very clearly get to your eyes. But there is a scene where like he that when he takes them back at the end,
Yes.
it's kind of badass. He literally just dusts Quinn and catches the glasses, and you're
All
like,
right. I
Blade's
think
back, baby.
you might have just made a point for the sunglasses for me.
I would pick the glasses over the fat suit for sure. Like I don't know what I would do with that fat suit. I honestly,
I,
it's
you know
scary.
what? These are going right up next to Morpheus. All right. I'm
Hell yeah.
taking Blade sunglasses.
All
All
right,
right.
I'm glad because that'll look really cool next to each other. You have literally any trench coat fan in the late '90s, early 2000s is going to be like, that's Blade and Morpheus, baby. Those are sick. Like it's
Yeah,
like
you're
it's
right.
that
You're right.
movie. But no, I do think the glasses are. I think you're not giving them enough credit because I do think they are pretty unique. Like no one's wearing glasses like that. That's an exclusive Blade glasses look, and I'd love to know like what type they are or like who made those because they are completely impractical. They don't make any sense.
Completely impractical.
All right, let me write down sunglasses for you, and let me cross it off 2 times off my list because I really don't know why I wrote that on here twice. I think because at the end, so I wrote it at the beginning when I was writing all the stuff that I saw initially, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool, yeah, 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 and I wrote it again after the Quinn scene where he literally like Quinn got outed and it was like no one cared, like it was like there was no
My
he
bad.
just disappeared. You just tried to do it and just decimated your microphone.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks for calling me out.
I just thought people should know why they just heard a thud out of nowhere on the podcast. Yeah, you just tried to wield Blade's sword and dust Quinn, and yeah, you hit your microphone. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. All right. You got to get good at it. You
Wait,
picked the
he
sword.
didn't even use his sword, didn't he? Hit him with like garrote wire Isn't that how he killed
Oh,
Quinn?
he might have. I don't. Maybe he didn't get his sword back at that point. He just
Yeah,
came down.
yeah.
Got okay. Yeah, you're right. He didn't have the sword yet, but yeah, he did just dust him. Like for
Like,
Quinn to be that funny and be a part of the movie for that many times, to go out like he did, like almost with his back, like he wasn't even facing the camera. It was literally just like, was that Quinn that just disappeared? Like it was gone. It was
yes,
over.
yes, immediately.
All right, last pick. Let me get in this. Um, so you, wow. I feel like there were some cool things that actually made sense from like a prop standpoint that they created for this film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll talk about it now because I don't know if I'm going to pick it, but I want to say it out loud because now I can do that with the freedom of the last pick.
Yeah,
The pages from the Vampire Bible,
those are cool.
the Book of Erebus, I think that's what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those are pretty cool in those glass cases. I thought those were really cool. Whenever they found it
Yeah.
behind that safe, that safe wall, was pretty sweet. Hmm. I also wrote down vampire mace, which Karen had on her for the entire movie, and like you said, out of nowhere, just became like the most OP weapon. Where if you spray it in an orifice in a vampire, they just explode.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna go with, and I think because it was from Whistler and it kind of stayed through the movie, and there was like a little bit of dialogue on it, and like you said, it had something to do with the fat suit, Pearl. The UV light, I'll take the
Wasn't that
UV.
just a flashlight?
It had like a big ass battery and it was blue. I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know why. I think I might take the blue, the blue
Take it.
UV ray light.
Take.
I mean, like it's the last pick. I mean, I now you got me second
I
guessing
I
too.
kind of other things you might not think about that I kind of thought about, that big holding chamber they had Blade in where they were draining his blood.
I thought about that, but I was like, I don't know. It seemed a little bit too big, and
Yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan of the wrist cutting. That
Okay.
was that was gross. I don't know. I was like, ugh. It creeped me out a little bit. So your disgust for the UV ray
Oh,
flashlight is making me want to
it's
put
I'm
it.
not disgusted. I just, to me it just it's not a bad pick. I also thought about I forgot his name, like Dracon's teeth, his
Dragonetti.
canine.
Oh, his two
Dragon
teeth.
that is,
He has two
yeah.
little incisors.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just throws them on the table. That was kind of a badass move with a bunch of vampires around. They're
Hmm.
like, "Where's Dragonetti?" Boom, ting ting ting. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, damn! All right, this guy actually just murdered somebody. That's insane." Um, all right, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm a
Take
man of
it.
my word. I'm gonna take the UV flashlight because I do think it was kind of cool looking, and just to have that, just in case there is I'm gonna assume that it actually was putting out UV rays, like a tanning bed almost. So I have that at least on hand for if there ever is like a vampire apocalypse. I can at least be ready. You know.
You could have the mace.
See now the mace. I feel like even though this is a prop, it also has the potential to be a UV light still. You know,
Hmm.
it could be. You
You
never
don't
know.
think that mace has garlic in it?
No, I think it's
Oh,
literally
okay.
just liquid. I mean, why would they
Okay.
waste their time when no one's? You don't smell a movie, not yet. We're not.
Okay.
We're not that advanced. Not when those 4D movies come out, though. We are going to smell a movie, I think, at some
Yeah.
point.
Have you ridden the Avatar ride at Disney?
Avatar, I have not. But I have done like
Oh my
4D stuff
god.
before. I like what's like Shrek 4D or like other stupid stuff like
Yo,
that. But
the Avatar, the flight ride, it might be the best ride I've ever ridden.
really,
Yes.
okay, that's
It's
Animal Kingdom,
wild.
right? Is that Animal
Yeah,
Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom.
I have not. I don't think we've been there since they like added all that stuff. So
It's
when we've gone to Disney, it's just
wild.
been like Magic Kingdom and that's it. We're pretty much done there. But yeah, interesting. I'll have to check it out. I do
Yes.
want to go there, but there's just so many parks and not enough time in the day. Like it's crazy.
I I will say it this way, we went and we had to wait 2 hours the first time to
Oh,
ride it and felt like it was completely worth it. We waited 2 hours twice. We got off and waited again.
wow. So
It
you spent your
was
whole day in that line,
it was at the end, it was at closing.
and you
So,
still had
like,
to wait 2 hours.
it's people started getting off, so it, like, shortened it to, like, an hour-ish, like, people
Okay,
started getting
okay.
off,
All right.
but it was 100% worth it.
All right, I will make note of that and
Yeah.
hopefully someday get there. All right, let's do the recap of the draft. You had the first pick. You took Blade sword.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm going to concede that. That's 100%. That's a win. That's pretty
Thank you.
solid. Blade's outfit though, also
That's
pretty
a
good.
win. That's a
I'll
win.
put that up on a mannequin. I'm good with that. The Blade boomerang, badass. You got a lot of weapons over there. You're going to be cutting people up. All right,
Yeah, I'm
all right,
ready.
that's fair. I did get the automatic Uzi pistol looking gun, Blade's gun. That it's okay. It's pretty cool.
No, that's good. I like that.
You got Blade's freaking car.
Yes.
That's a beast. That's a beast. That's gonna be
It's
pretty sweet. I think that's
did
pretty
any
solid.
did anyone get Batman's car when we did the Batman?
Um, I would imagine. I think we did. I don't know. I don't have to go back
Someone
and check
must
my
have.
notes.
Yeah,
Somebody had
someone
to have,
must have.
right? Yeah,
Because
I think
that
we've
speaking of
any chance
that,
that we've had to actually get a
let's
car.
see.
You took the.
Signal.
Oh
Oh,
no,
I
you
took
took
the
its first pick.
Batmobile. Yeah, I
Yeah,
took
you
the
took
Batmobile.
your
Yeah.
first pick was Batmobile. I took his suit,
Yes.
and then I took his motorcycle. So yeah, we
Yes.
took all of his.
Everything.
What we did not pick in this one though was Blade's motorcycle, which
Yeah.
admittedly didn't have a huge role in this film up until
Mhm.
the very end, when you see him or you hear it, and
Mhm.
everybody, all the people walking around hear it, and no one seems to. They're like, "Huh, what is that noise? I think Blade's on his way, but I don't know. That could be literally anything." And they're literally saying Blade's here, but they're
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna keep looking around. What are they doing there? I don't know.
I
It was
don't know.
ultimate grunts, like useless grunts that they just had. I don't know.
Yes.
It was funny. Anyway,
Yo,
he pops in with that, but he immediately slides off of it. Like he breaks the glass, slides off of it. The bike's gone. But
my garage is gonna be stacked.
hey, you got some nice cars, bro. Nice cars
My
for sure.
garage
We
is
did
stacked.
Transformers. We both got some solid cars from that one, bro.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, you got the car. I got the EDTA vial darts. You got the
Yep.
sunglasses, and honestly, last round pick sunglasses, pretty good. And then I got the UV flashlight.
Honestly, if I got the EDTA vials, I went 4 for 4. Like I
You,
completely would have run away with this thing.
it's not bad. It's
I'm
not
I'm
bad.
upset. I'm upset that you got those.
I took the gun, and I was contemplating the car. It was a coin flip, but I felt like the gun had a little bit more impactful moment. The car is
Yeah.
badass, but yeah, I'm trying to go for moments here.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say that, I picked the UV light where they literally burning this guy to death. It
Yeah.
was sad, bro. I was like, this is, come on, man. He can't even move. Like, come on. It's like, leave him alone.
And she literally says he moved.
He
Like
moved.
that
His
was
arm, it literally, his arm came up and he's like, ah! Like, it was the saddest little shriek. I felt really bad. That was hard to watch. But anyway,
Yeah.
fun movie. I'm excited. I know there's a couple more. I do think they get progressively better in like obviously, not, the first one's obviously really good. But this isn't a traditional like origin story though. I mean, you get that in the very beginning that the second he's like, oh, I'm born, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It is probably about as good as origin as you could do for Blade. I don't know how else you would do that.
We'll see in a year.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's obviously like Mahershala Ali is not young.
No.
So I don't think we're gonna get a young Blade. I don't know. I'm curious to see what a young Blade looks like. Like, is he going?
They probably do somewhere they swap in. They might probably get like a younger actor to play young.
It could be
Blade or
interesting.
something.
I think it'd be interesting to see like the formative years of Blade, like like late teens, like you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Like it'd be interesting to see. Like, is he just like, I'm a teenager now and I'm gonna start murdering vampires? Like I'm out for blood instantly. That'd be nuts.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, the other ones are really good. I have all three. I own them. They're awesome movies. I'm very, very curious to see what Marvel does in
Yeah,
this modern day one.
teenage years as a vampire, like you already have no type of emotional regulation and control.
Bro,
Like you're
insane.
like if you go through teenage years as a vampire, you're murdering a lot of people.
Well, Whistler says in this movie, I think he says he found him when he was like 13.
That's crazy.
13 years of a child running around just
Yeah,
eating
just
people and like
yes,
he was
thirsting.
yeah. Well, that's insane. I don't know. How do you calm that, especially as a human being? Like imagine that interaction. How does that go? Like
Yeah. Like, well, that's the whole thing in Twilight. That's why they don't let vampires under adult years exist because they're unstable. Like they just
yeah.
murder people.
Yeah.
So I
Fascinating.
just outed myself. But anyway.
Whoa, okay. All right. That's fair. Listen, hey, Twilight's solid movie, bro. All right, it's good. I'll stand by that. That's a very good Batman is in that movie too. So I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. All right,
Let's go.
What's up?
Just
What,
go. No,
you don't want to talk about
no,
Robert
no.
Pattinson? Batman?
No, I was gonna say a lot of other good things were in, like Cam Gigante was in that.
There's a couple. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm trust me. I'm not the guy to sit here and bash Twilight. All right,
Yeah.
I was forced to initially watch it, and then when I
Mhm.
watched it, I was like, that's all right. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna bash it. All right. But now enough about the second rate vampires. All right, we're here to talk about Blade.
Whoa.
I'm just saying. Listen, they're not. You don't see Blade glistening in the sun. All right,
You
that's
don't.
weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Um, it's kind of cool though too. But I'm not. We got to get out of here. All right, we got to get out of here.
Yes.
So we'll obviously be back. I'll pick the next film. I don't know exactly what direction I want to go yet. I'm kind of leaning between two, but we're excited to be back and regularly throwing content into your ear holes.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Then I guess that's pretty much it. Then you done here? Anything
Late.
else you want to say for the greater good? Or you're gonna say later and just wrap it up? And I ruined it. And now I feel like now you have to say something like no.
Love you guys. Bye.
Okay, sorry. Love you. See ya.